Hey guys, so I wanted to do a quick review of a pretty cheap like PS4 PC controller I saw. I got it off AliExpress for about $20, so definitely a really good budget option. And it looks like it's got a few decent amount of features, so we're gonna unbox it and yeah, we're gonna see if it's any good or not. So for 20 bucks, it's, you know, got some 4 back buttons. It's got you can switch it between PlayStation and Xbox layout, and so we're gonna see if it's any good. For $20, that would be a really good budget option for a lot of you guys out there. So the box here, we got, I think it's wireless too, but you have a USB cable obviously to plug it in and charge it. Got the controller in some bubble wrap. And a little pamphlet for seeing how it works. But first impressions here, oh yeah, it had some more things on it. Here it is for $20. Now for a close-up view of it, you have front and you've got the back. So it's got a removable like circle D-pad, which is nice to kind of can do roll-offs like that, the circle, or if you want to be able to do it more intentionally for each direction, you can take it off real quick. It's magnetized. It's got your touchpad, your obviously your buttons. That's for like turbo, which is like spamming a button, well, only having to press it once. Obviously that's technically like cheating, but if you're like, you know, doing an RPG or some game where it doesn't matter, that could be nice. That's how you wake it up, obviously. And then we've got bumpers, triggers. It's got a little light bar, which is a nice touch. And it's got 4 back buttons, obviously. They're not the best. You're gonna wanna hold them with your, hit all of them with your middle finger, kind of like push down like that for one, and for the top one, you can't use those as much. You kind of have to like lean up with it. You can like move your finger up and hit it, or you can kind of like pull in. It's hard to show you, but if you like push inward, that'll actuate it. But just kind of imagine it's a 2-button rear button controller. It's got some nice rubber grips too, as well as what appears to be some pretty nice feeling joysticks. Good click on those. And so I've just plugged it in to the computer and it lights up. Obviously it goes with either USB Type-C or micro USB. I think it's Type-C, could be wrong though. And immediately we're, you know, registering up here. And we're gonna see how it works. Okay, so it's detecting it as an Xbox controller right off the bat. And a really good centering on those joysticks. Perfect resting value. Let's test the vibration. Yeah, it's got some vibration motors in there. See what this circularity is. I'll be curious to see what this is. If it'll click. Technical difficulties. There we go. So, not great on the circularity. Normally it's like 12 to 20. So I mean, not the worst, not the best. For $20, it's okay, it's passable. Okay, so after a quick Google search, it is USB Type-C for this. It's got the 3.5mm headphone jack, which is good. And here are some of the key features off the pamphlet. You might want to take a picture of that for the remapping the back buttons and the turbo, but I'll also show you. Firstly, to switch it to either Xbox, where they're swapped like that, or symmetrical, which is what this is, kind of like for PlayStation 4. Take off the D-pad, and you're going to want to pull on the where this LED is down. So do that. It can be a bit tricky at first, but you see it kind of flopped off there for a second. It's got some magnets. Also a bit hard to do with one hand. I'll put this down for a second. Alright, so I was able to pull it off. It's on there with magnets so it can flop back on. But what you're gonna want to do is flip it to the back, and there's this tool you also can pull out from here that you're gonna need to use. So I pulled it out. It's this. You're gonna want to see these two. Yep, these two little screws right here. You actually don't just turn them one direction. You want to make sure they're facing that little triangle right there. The opening goes towards the triangles. Then, so once you've turned it to where it is facing that way, there you can see it a bit better. It'll be loose enough to basically pull the thing out. So I just pulled it out. You can either, flip it to have it be like that way, or like that way. Either one. But whichever one, you pop it back in, and then put that back on, snap on, and you're good to go. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to bind the rear buttons. What you're going to want to do is hold the turbo button for about 2 seconds, and then while still holding it, you're going to hold one of these 3 buttons. This one doesn't work for some reason, but what you do is hold this for 2 seconds, then hold one of the buttons. It'll start flashing, and once that happens, you pick whatever button you want to bind it to, say circle, and then you push that button again. It'll vibrate, and then that button is done, and you just do that for each of these 3 buttons. This one is like for some kind of target button where you push it and it apparently slows down the sensitivity. I don't know how well that works, but yeah. Okay, so last part of this review. A few things to mention is that, for one, the inner dead zones are a little not great for making small movements, because I'm moving it right now and it just jumps to those values out there. So those are really small inside movements. It's kind of hard to do on this, but for $20, it's not the worst thing ever. It's not that big of a deal. It's just for really small adjustments. It makes it to where there's an inner dead zone, so you're not gonna get stick drift. I did a polling rate test, and it's about 20 milliseconds of input delay, which is also kind of slow, but I'm gonna overclock it right now and see if that helps with any of it. So let's see. Here it is. I bet that'll help it actually probably quite a bit. Let's
Do 1000. Filter on device. Install service. Install service.
Unplug it. Plug it back in.
Now it should get faster. We're about to see. Okay, so it got a little faster and it's more consistent. So if you're on a computer, definitely overclock it. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much a normal PS4 controller. But I mean, for $20, it's a really good deal. I would definitely recommend it if you're in that budget for just a replacement PS4 controller and you don't want to spend $70 on a DualShock. Also, it does fit Xbox control freaks, not the PlayStation ones, but the Xbox ones go on there well. And for $20, not a bad product. Thank you for watching, and yeah.